Hey guys, Psychic Pictures here, and welcome back to more Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. In the last episode, we finished the Academy Ace Tournament, which we can repeat, but here's the thing. I was going to repeat the Academy Ace Tournament and see some characters that we have not previously battled, but then the DLC came out and adjusted their teams, made them more difficult, and so I'm not going to show them in the main story. I'm going to show them in the aftergame. In the aftergame, when we battle them, it's going to be those teams that they use in the Academy Ace Tournament. And it's your teachers, your rivals, and Gita that appear in the Academy Ace Tournament. So, with that out of the way, interested in classes? Yes. I'm interested in the Home Ec class. Our last one. Home Ec with Mr. Saguaro. Now, with this one, I want to say I've not gone and done the Home Ec class. Any of the classes. And I don't even know what to expect. I've not done any of these, even on my main playthrough. Oh, two people in sync that have mind powers of turning pages. Cool. I see we have some energetic young ones in our class this time around. You may call me Mr. Saguaro. Your time here with me will be spent obtaining knowledge and skills indispensable for daily life. Many of you have left the care of your parents to live here on your own in the Academy dormitory. I pray that the knowledge I impart to you will improve the quality of your lives and the necessities thereof. Food, clothing, and shelter. Of those three categories, I assume the most pressing and interesting for you all is food. When you eat sandwiches on your picnics, the HP of your Pokemon party Pokemon will be restored. I didn't know that. Okay. You will also gain something called meal powers, which can provide all manner of benefits. For example, these powers can make Pokemon easier to catch or increase the experience points that your Pokemon receive. I think you will also find that the breadth of these effects can be expanded by crafting sandwiches of superb flavor. What's more, there is a certain something that is particularly important if we wish to receive meal powers with even more helpful effects. Let me see. Master Psychic, tell me, what must you keep in mind to receive even more helpful meal powers? My choice of filling and condiments, how fast I can prepare food. I have to remember to put my heart into it. My choice of fillings and condiments. Alright. Correct. Perhaps you were already aware of this fact from having helped your family with cooking at home. Your choice of ingredients, including both fillings and condiments, is an important factor in gaining the even more helpful meal powers. For example, using sweet ingredients in your sandwiches may help you gain egg power. Including numerous bitter ingredients, on the other hand, will gain you the item drop power. Learning to aim for specific effects when crafting sandwiches will almost certainly make your culinary endeavors more enjoyable. Please be aware, however, that you can also receive meal powers by eating at restaurants. I must say that I would feel the utmost joy if you all learned much here in my class and came to better understand home economics. Our time together has come to an end for today. I bid you all farewell. Okay, that was interesting. Weird interesting, but interesting. Home Ec 2. Alright, let's go. Put away your phones, it's time to begin. Okay, wait a second, I need to answer something on my phone. Hello? Yeah, I'm in the middle of a recording right now. Okay, bye. Now, what were we saying, Saguaro? In our last class, I believe we talked about the effects you can get from food on your picnics. You can receive meal powers and even restore HP for all the Pokemon in your party. It is a truly convenient means of healing your Pokemon. Unfortunately, as I'm sure you're aware, it is not suited for use in battles. When you cannot make food, or when you wish to restore HP quickly, and times such as those, you should make use of healing items such as potions, which you can purchase from Pokemarts or the school store. Healing items are immediately effective and can be used anytime you can open your bag. They are, however, consumed after one use. Potions restore 20 HP, Super Potions restore 60, Hyper Potions restore 120. The pricier the item, the more HP it will restore. Keep in mind how much money you have when you are stocking up on these items. However, unforeseen happenings are an intricate part of traveling from place to place. Imagine, if you will, the following scenario. You find yourself with injured Pokemon, but you have no potions. You are out of sandwich ingredients, and there are no Pokemon centers nearby. Tell me, Master Psychic, what should you search for when in a perilous situation with no way to heal your Pokemon? A place with water, a teacher, items on the ground. Items on the ground. Perfectly correct, Master Psychic. I see you are well learned in survival techniques. If you see something shining on the ground, it is actually an item that has been dropped there. You may be able to find a restorative item, such as an orange berry or a potion, in this way. You can press the R button to send out your Pokemon to pick up such items as well. And then there are berries, of course. Berries, by the way, aren't like items from shops. If you let your Pokemon hold one, it will decide on its own when to eat the berry during battle. Letting your Pokemon decide this timing for itself can be quite interesting. At any rate, if you find yourself in need of healing, I suggest that you look around for shining items on the ground. If you can't find such items, there are other options you may employ for healing your... But I see the bell demands that topic wait. Our time together has come to an end. I bid you farewell. But yeah, finding items on the ground is how I became so rich with potions and stuff. Home Ec, yes. Let's go. Put away your phones. Wait, I need to make a call. No! In the last class, we talked about HP restoration. However, after class, I was asked by several of you about power points, commonly known as PP. Heh PP. When a Pokemon loses all of its HP, it faints and can no longer battle. What then happens to a Pokemon when it loses all of its PP? It can't use moves, it won't listen to its trainer, all its stats get lowered. It uses struggle and can't use moves. Perfectly correct. Perhaps you know this first-hand experience? Yeah. When a Pokemon runs out of PP, it can no longer use its moves. However, each move has its own store of PP, so you can mitigate PP loss by using a variety of moves rather than just one move repeatedly. If a Pokemon loses all PP for all its moves, it will be able to use Struggle, an action that also damages the Pokemon that uses it. In order to avoid this predicament, PP can be restored at the Pokemon centers along with HP. Items such as Ethers and Max Ethers can also be used to restore PP. Be careful not to confuse potions with Ethers in the heat of battle. However, Ethers are not sold in shops, so you should use them judiciously. I can't remember. I don't know how to say that. Judiciously. There we go. If you find them. The stronger the move, the lower its maximum PP. Do not waste uses of these moves unless you wish to quickly run out of PP. It is important to find a balance in a Pokemon set of moves. As you can see, HP isn't the only thing you must keep an eye on while adventuring with a Pokemon. I hope that you can all take care and ensure that your partner Pokemon can perform at their best as you engage in your treasure hunt. Our time together has come to an end. Next time will be an examination day. Be prepared. Be sure to review well in preparation. Oh my gosh. Oh, there's something I also wanted to say. I wanted to say, interactions in the academy. That's going to be next time. And that may take 2 or 3 episodes because of how many there are. But I'll be going and doing all the interactions with all the characters, because some of them are actually pretty hilarious. The time has come to test how well you all have learned here in my class. Let's begin before the information simmering in your brains from a last-minute cram session fades. Which is not an effect of a picnic meal. HP restoration, curing poison, increasing speed, and gaining meal power. I think it's increased speed. Because curing poison threw me off. Which of the following affects the kinds of meals received from a particular meal? Fillings and condiments, the number of people eating, the color of the utensils. The color of the utensils? What? Which of these berries can restore a Pokemon's HP? Pecha Berry, Cherry Berry, or Orange Berry? Orange Berry? Lindro wanted his Pokemon to decide on its own when to use this item in battle, so he gave it an Orange Berry. He hopes this will work as he hopes. True. If a Pokemon runs out of PP, it can no longer be used. If a Pokemon runs out of PP for all its moves, it can only sit there in frustration. False. The time for answering questions has come to an end. Please stop writing. I hope you all were able to give the examination everything you had. Please remember to ask for your scores at the front desk before leaving for the day. Alright. Need at least 3 questions, and I got 5 out of 5 correct. Nice. Yay, small candy. Get back in the class. Get back in the class! Ah! Okay. Put away your phones. But I want to have my phone out. Too bad. Though some of you had to retake the midterm multiple times, I'm glad to say that the majority of the class passed without issue. I feel honored to see that the knowledge and skills indispensable for daily life have taken root in all of you. I trust that you all will work just as hard on your life skills in this second half of the course as well. Let's now turn our attention to the topic of the day, which was inspired by a question I received on the subject of meal powers. The student who asked this question is a young man who enjoys the culinary arts. Arvin! Maybe. He tells me that he regularly researches culinary techniques on his own and pays careful attention to the ingredients he uses. It sounds like Arvin. He also spends day and night studying all aspects of culinary arts. Yet despite this, he's baffled by his inability to increase the effectiveness of his meal powers. So tell me, Master Psychic, since you did quite well on your midterm exam, what should this young man do to increase the effectiveness of his meal powers? Arven? He should make food with other people. He should make food more often. Actually, I don't know. Should he make food more often or make food with other people? Make food with other people. Okay. Perfectly correct. And I was correct. It was Arvin. I see you are knowledgeable about culinary arts. Make food with other people. To increase the effectiveness of meal powers, your sandwiches must be filled with many different ingredients. For a single person, this may prove difficult, but if you prepare a sandwich with others, you will be able to handle a larger serving of bread. With a larger base to start with, it becomes quite simple to add more ingredients to your sandwich, which in turn makes it possible to receive meal powers of increased effectiveness. This applies more broadly as well. When dealing with with a different issue, working with others to solve that issue may be the best course of action. I'm sure that Arvin will likewise work with friends to craft his sandwiches in the future. The identity of the male student is a matter of privacy. The male student is a matter of privacy, so I would ask that you do not pry too deeply. Our time together has ended. I bid you farewell. I kind of figured he would spill that it was Arvin. And I like how Arvin was like, "What? Why'd you say that? Why'd you say it was me?" That was hilarious. That was a good class. I can't deny that. That was a good class. That was a good session of the class. Good lesson. Something like that. While you're out performing fieldwork with one of your Pokemon walking alongside you, have you noticed some changes in its coloration? Now, I don't mean that it suddenly becomes a shiny Pokemon or any nonsense like that. I'm speaking of it becoming filthy. Pokemon battle. They get hurt by moves used against them. They get battered by wind and rain. They get covered in sand and mud. They get, in a word, filthy. I've seen many a trainer walking about with their adorable little Pokemon without addressing this issue. It is deplorable. Let me ask this question of someone who I am sure will not tolerate such shameful conduct. Master Psychic. I've never bathed my Pokemon in the picnics. What should you do if your Pokemon gets dirty? Clean it up, pat it on the head. Nothing. Nothing is what I do. Clean it up. Perfectly correct. I knew I could count on you to provide me with such an answer, even though I don't do it myself. When your Pokemon are dirty, clean them. This is, of course, simply common sense. While you are having a picnic, you can approach the Pokemon on your team and perform a variety of actions. One such action is putting them through what I like to call the Pokemon wash. In other words, you're able to clean them up. You start by getting your sponge lathered up with soapy bubbles as you gently and carefully scrub your Pokemon. Once your Pokemon is nice and covered in bubbles, The bubbles will encapsulate the filth, then you simply wash it away with a spray of water. This will get your Pokemon clean and shining, bright as a Terra Jewel. It is certainly quite a bit of work, but this will also restore HP and cure status conditions. However, some Pokemon may have parts of their bodies that they don't want scrubbed or that they would rather not get wet. Be sure to keep this in mind when cleaning your Pokemon, like a Jinx's boobs. So, did I really say that out loud? Now, the most important thing that I must mention is that some Pokemon like to be dirty, like Clodsire. Though I will contradict myself by saying this, please do remember that cleaning your Pokemon is not always the kind thing to do. Our time together has ended. I bid you farewell. I didn't know that cured status conditions, though. That's pretty... That's... You know what? I was going to say that doesn't make sense, but when you're actually cleaning the Pokemon, the status conditions are technically on their skin, and you're washing away, like dead skin cells and stuff like that, so it actually makes sense that washing them would cure status conditions. Home economics is the study of life's necessities, but looking back at our time together, I realized that I focused almost entirely on food. I hope it's not too late to shift to a discussion of clothing, another necessity in our last class. As I'm sure you're aware, our academy has an air of freedom about it. We provide uniforms for each season to accommodate the diverse climate of Paldea. However, students are free to wear whichever style they wish whenever they please. You should all have received 4 sets of tops and bottoms, one each for spring, summer, fall, and winter, when the academy accepted you. If by chance you are not aware of this, you may wish to pursue your wardrobe. As long as you wear our school uniform, the rest of your ensemble need not be school issued. This includes your bag and your hat, or your hat, if you choose to wear one. You are even free to style your hair however you wish. Mr. Salvador's hairstyle, for example, would almost certainly have been against school rules when I was a boy. That reminds me, there is one more thing you all like to decorate, which I must say I find quite charming. Our classroom decks, our dorm rooms, our Rotom phones. Perfectly, it's that adorable thing I was speaking of. Ooh, it interests me so. I must admit that I am fantasized by Rotom phones and how to customize them. What's that? How very intriguing. So there's a shop called Delibird Presents where you can purchase cases for your Rotom phones. I thank you for that useful bit of information. I shall have to go myself first thing tomorrow to get an adorable case of my own liking. Forgive me, it seems I have gotten a little carried away with the small talk. As this class, known as Home Economics, nears its end, I offer these final words to you who have been honing everyday life skills with me. My field of study is not so decisive as the likes of mathematics, for instance, where test scores might play a part in deciding your future. However, as you go on to cook for yourselves, to take care of your Pokemon, and to decide what to wear in the morning when you waken, I will be honored if what I have taught you serves to smoothen out your enrich your lives, even if only a little. This sentiment was imparted to me by Mr. Hassel and his particular outlook on such matters. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for seeing this class through to the end. Our time together has come to a close for today. Prepare to do your best on our final exam. These classes were rather interesting. A little more interesting than the other classes, but they're still classes. The final exam. Mr. Saguaros. Let's see how well I do on this one. The time has come to test how well you all have learned in my class. Let's begin before the information simmering about Which of the following meal powers makes it easier to come across shiny Pokemon? You never taught us that! You never taught us that! Sparkling power, encounter power, catching power. Sparkling power. Which of the following is not an effect of egg power? Makes eggs hatch faster, helps catch strong Pokemon, makes eggs easier to find. Helps hatch strong Pokemon. What is a simple yet important tactic for increasing the effectiveness of meal powers? Make food more often, food at home, make food with others. What is the correct action to take when your adorable Pokemon become dirty? Pokemon Wash. Pokemon Dash, that's a game. Pokemon Wish, that's what Jirachi does. Pokemon Wash. This is a question about Academy rules. Should you change your uniform tops and bottoms to properly match each season? Yes, you should, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Alright. I made the questions a little easier than I'd planned to, as a way of saying thank you for informing me about the Rotom phone cases. I trust that you all gave this exam everything you had, so that you will not have to retake it. Please remember to ask for your scores at the front desk before leaving for the day. Let's see what I got, because I'm not sure I passed it. I'm not sure on 2 questions. The sparkling power and the egg power. So 5 out of 5. Okay, good. I was not sure about that. Alright. Experience Candy Medium. You have now finished all of your classes and passed all of your exams. I have this for you from Director Clavel. 5 Experience Candy Large. Okay. You can now focus all your efforts on this year's treasure hunt. Be careful out there. Okay. Like to revisit classes. Yes, we have officially defeated every single one of the classes. Next time, we'll be going and doing interactions around the school. So we will be going and looking at the different interactions. So we'll be looking at Penny's interactions, Arvin's, Jacques, Hassel's, Saguaro's, Times, Rayford's, Salvatore's, Director Clavel's, Nurse Miriam, which we haven't actually interacted with, Nimona, Dendra, and that's it. We got a lot of interactions to do in the academy, as you can plainly see. But hopefully they won't be too terribly boring. I know they can be boring at some points, but they're a part of the game, and I do want to show them. This has been Psyche Pictures, and I'll see you guys next time for 2, maybe 3 episodes of interactions within the walls of Naranja or Uva Academy. See you guys then.